Hello and welcome to this reflection space with Vimai. Here we take real moments of life and turn them into reflection, into growth, and into something meaningful. You know, there's something we don't always realize. You can be living your life every day, busy, doing things, showing up, and still not growing. Because living is not the same as reflecting. You can go through experiences, face challenges, even overcome certain things, and still come out the same mindset, same patterns, same results. And when you really think about it, it's not because nothing is happening in your life. It's because you are not stopping to understand what is happening. Because growth doesn't come from what you go through. It comes from what you understand about what you went through. And that requires something most people avoid: pausing. You know, instead of constantly moving, constantly distracting yourself, constantly going from one thing to another, what if you just pause for a moment and ask yourself, what is my life actually showing me right now? Like, what keeps repeating? What patterns are you seeing in your life? The same frustrations, the same outcomes, the same situations. Because patterns don't just happen, but they point to something. They reveal what hasn't been addressed. And this is where the shift begins. Because instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You start asking, what is this trying to teach me? And you can feel the difference even in these questions. One keeps you stuck and the other moves you forward. Now let's go a bit deeper here. Because reflection is not just about what's happening around you. It's about what's happening within you. Like, have you ever really paused and asked yourself, what do I actually want? Not what people expect from you. Not what looks good on the outside, but what you genuinely want for your life. Because if you're not careful, you can spend years chasing things that were never truly yours. And from there, it naturally leads you to think, so what am I actually trying to achieve right now? Not in a vague way, but in a real practical way. Like, what does the next few days look like for you? What are you trying to move forward? What are you trying to move forward to? In the next week? In the next 2 weeks? Even in the next month? Because sometimes we talk about big dreams, but we don't break them down into daily direction. And when you stretch it further, you start asking yourself, where am I even going with my life? 6 months from now? 1 year from now? Even 5 years from now? What kind of life am I actually building? And you see, that's where discipline comes in. Because what you say you want has to align with what you are doing every day. Now let's be real for a moment. Because sometimes it's not that you don't know what you want. It's that something is holding you back. And if you slow down and really look at it, you might start to realize maybe it's fear. Fear of failing, fear of being judged, fear of not being enough. And instead of facing it, you adjust your life around it. But what if you flip that and ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of? Because once you can name it, you can start working on it. Not all at once, but step by step. For example, if speaking scares you, you don't have to jump on a stage tomorrow. You start small, you practice, you learn, you grow into it. And even in that process, you remind yourself it's okay to ask for help. Because growth was never to be a solo journey. And then let's shift your focus again, because this part is important. What are you grateful for? Because if you're honest, your mind naturally focuses on what's missing, what's not working, what you don't have yet. But what if instead of that, you train your mind to notice what is already there? Like, have you actually taken a moment even today to think about what you're grateful for? Not in a general way, but specifically what in your life right now is still good. Because gratitude does something powerful. It changes your perspective. It makes you lighter, more present, more aware of what truly matters. And finally, this is where it gets very real. Have you ever really looked at your strengths and your weaknesses honestly? Not in a defensive way, not in a way where you try to protect your image, but in a truthful way. Like, what are you genuinely good at? What do people consistently notice about you? Because those are not random. Those are areas you are meant to build on. And then your weaknesses. This is where most people struggle because it's uncomfortable. But avoiding your weaknesses doesn't remove them, but it keeps you stuck in them. So instead of avoiding them, what if you face them? Not to judge yourself, but to improve yourself. Because the moment you understand yourself better, you start making better decisions. You start showing up differently. And your life begins to shift intentionally. And that's what reflection really is. It's not about perfection. It's about awareness. It's about alignment. So be honest with yourself. If nothing is changing in your life, what are you still refusing to reflect on? Thank you for taking a moment to listen and reflect with me today. And stay connected here, because there will always be another drop of reflection, another drop of inspiration, and another moment of growth waiting for you. Until next time.